when her mask fell off. I never thought a single moment could split my life into two completely separate timelines. Before her mask fell off, and after. Before, I was just a guy. Simple, steady, maybe a bit naive. I believed in loyalty, in effort, in her. God help me, I believed in her so much it makes me physically ill now. And after? After, I was something else. Something cracked, shattered, left piecing myself together from fragments too sharp to touch. Let me take you to the beginning, because you need the full picture to understand the weight of the collapse. The fake smiles, the sweet kisses, the nights I held her when she cried. Every moment that felt real until I realized none of it ever was. Her name was Emma. I met her in college during my 3rd year. She had this energy, electric, magnetic, like she didn't just walk into a room, she took it. Her laughter cut through the air like music. Her voice always had this little playful twist, like she was teasing the whole world. The kind of girl you couldn't ignore, even if you wanted to. And I didn't want to. She wasn't just beautiful. She was captivating. The way she'd tilt her head when she listened. The way her eyes flickered like she was always calculating something. At first I thought it was depth. In hindsight, it was strategy. I wasn't the loudest guy in the room. I didn't dress flashy or tell big stories. I was just me. Steady, observant, thoughtful. And for a while, it seemed like that's exactly what she liked about me. I still remember the first conversation we had. It was during a seminar about ethics in business. I had made a comment about integrity being a non-negotiable quality. She turned to me, smirked, and said, "That's adorable. You still believe in that stuff." I blinked. "I mean, yeah, don't you?" She leaned closer. "Only when people are watching." It was a joke, I think. But her eyes lingered on me too long. Like she was testing me. And maybe I passed, because a week later, she asked me out. Those first few months with her? Heaven. Or at least, my version of it. We'd stay up until 3 a.m. talking about everything and nothing. She'd fall asleep in my lap, mumbling nonsense in that half-dreamy voice. She made me playlists, wrote me notes, little things. I felt seen, wanted, loved. I told my friends, she's different. God, I was an idiot. They smiled. They warned me, too, in subtle ways. My buddy Ryan once said, "She's a little intense, man. Just keep your eyes open." I didn't listen. Of course I didn't. When you're in it, when you're under her spell, everything looks like a goddamn fairy tale. Even the red flags look like passion. It started slow. Subtle things. She got annoyed when I spent time with my sister. Said things like, "You're always there for everyone else, but I need you too, you know?" I thought it was fair. I wanted to be there for her. She criticized my clothes. Gave me a new haircut. "You look way hotter like this," she said, running her fingers through my hair. And yeah, I liked the attention. I let her shape me. Every tiny thing she adjusted, my schedule, my habits, my friends, she made it seem like a favor. Like she was improving me. I didn't realize I was trading pieces of myself for her approval. Then came the lies. I caught her once, texting some guy named Luca at 2 a.m. I was next to her in bed when the notification lit up her phone. I wasn't snooping. It was right there. "Miss you tonight, face-blowing a kiss." I stared at it for a full minute before I asked, "Who's Luca?" She sat up immediately, grabbed her phone like it was about to be stolen. "No one. Just a friend. He's going through some shit. I'm just being nice." "Does he always miss you at night?" She laughed. Actually laughed. "Are you seriously jealous right now? Jesus, you're not one of those guys, are you?" And that was it. She turned it on me. Made me feel like I was the problem. Insecure. Clingy. I apologized. I fucking apologized. That night, she kissed me harder than usual. Made love to me like she was proving something. And I believed it. I took her body as a reassurance when I should have seen it for what it was. Damage control. By month 9, I was a ghost of who I used to be. I lied to my friends to avoid their questions. Avoided my family. Skipped studying. Skipped meals. Anything to make more space for her. Anything to keep her from pulling away. Because by then, she had conditioned me to believe that her affection was earned. If I disappointed her, she'd go cold. Withdraw for days. No texts. No answers. And then, when I was at my lowest, she'd come back like sunshine after a storm, warm and bright, and smiling like I'd imagined the whole thing. That cycle? It was hell. But I mistook it for love. And then came the night everything cracked. It was her birthday. I'd been planning a surprise for weeks. Booked a little cabin outside the city. Candles, music, her favorite wine. I even printed photos of us, something she once mentioned wanting for memories. She didn't show up. Texted me at 8 p.m. Something came up. Sorry. I'll explain later. Love you. I sat alone, staring at the wine glasses. I waited. For hours. Then I made the worst mistake I ever made. I checked her Instagram. She'd been tagged in a story. In a club. Sitting on some guy's lap, laughing, his hand wrapped around her waist like it belonged there. The caption? Birthday Queen Fire Fire Fire. My lungs stopped working. I stared at that image so long it burned into my brain. My ears rang. My hands shook. My heart, it didn't break. It imploded. I called her. No answer. I texted her. Who is he? She replied an hour later. You're overreacting. We're just friends. I told you not to be so possessive. I felt like vomiting. The next morning, she showed up at my place. All fake tears and I didn't want to hurt you lines. I didn't let her speak at first. I just looked at her, studied her, tried to find even a glimpse of the girl I'd fallen in love with. But she was gone. Or maybe she'd never been there. Pravivina idu na stupnjem pavduinem. When her mask fell off. Part 1 of 2. Why? I asked, voice low, barely holding together. Why lie to me? She sniffled, clutching the sleeves of her hoodie like a child trying to look smaller. I didn't mean to lie. I didn't want to ruin what we had. You are ruining it. I know, she sighed. It's complicated, okay? Luca and I have history. It's not what you think. Then explain it to me. She looked up at me then. Eyes big, glassy. But I finally noticed something I'd ignored all along. There was no remorse. Only calculation. Do you love him? I asked. She didn't answer. And in that silence, everything inside me fell apart. She stayed the night. Somehow, we didn't talk much. I slept on the edge of the bed, turned away. Every inch of her skin that brushed mine felt like acid. But I couldn't kick her out. I couldn't face the emptiness. Not yet. I think she knew that. She curled into me anyway, whispering how much she loved me, how sorry she was, how I was the only one who really knew her. And I wanted to believe it so badly. That's what people never understand. When you love someone, you don't just fight for them. You fight against the truth just to protect the version of them you wish was real. Over the next few weeks, she was on her best behavior. She brought me coffee, cooked for me, texted me good morning and good night. All of it felt scripted, rehearsed. The mask was back on, but now I could see the seams. I started noticing the cracks. How she'd flinch when a message popped up and I looked. How she always put her phone face down. How she went silent when I asked about her weekend plans. And that's when it began. The unraveling. I did what I never thought I'd do. I checked her phone. I waited until she was in the shower, heart pounding like a drum. I knew it was wrong, but I also knew something was being hidden from me. And if she wouldn't give me the truth, I had to take it. Messages. So many messages. Not just Luca. 3 other guys. All with their own nicknames. Baby. Boo. King. Screenshots of messages from me, captioned with laughing emojis. He's so clingy, lol. A picture of me sleeping, sent to someone with the message. He's sweet but boring. I need something real. I stood there shaking. My vision went blurry. My stomach twisted like it wanted to crawl up my throat. This was beyond betrayal. This was humiliation. She came out of the shower wrapped in a towel, humming some stupid pop song. I was sitting on the bed, phone in hand, the screen lit with her messages. She froze. Her smile dropped like a stone. You went through my phone? I laughed. I actually laughed. A cold, dead sound that didn't feel like it came from me. That's your response. She snatched the phone. I can't believe you'd invade my privacy like that. I stood up. Are you serious right now? She backed away. You always do this. You act like a victim, like I'm the villain. You are the villain, Emma. Silence. And then, for the first time, I saw it. The real her. She straightened, dropped the towel, stared me dead in the eyes, naked and cold and unbothered. Fine. You want the truth? I never saw you as anything more than a placeholder. I couldn't move. I liked the way you made me feel. Safe. Worshipped. But it got boring. You're not exciting, not ambitious. You don't challenge me. You're just there. I blinked. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. She tilted her head. And the worst part? I tried to settle for you. I thought maybe I could make it work. Mold you into someone better. Tears stung my eyes. I clenched my fists to stop them from falling. So what was any of it? The notes? The nights you cried in my arms? The I love yous? She smirked. Performance. Продовження йде в наступному повідомленні. When her mask fell off. Part 1 of 2-3/. I stood there in that room, the same room where I once kissed her for the first time, where we danced barefoot to our favorite songs, where we whispered promises at 2 a.m., and all I could see was a stranger. No, worse. A performer. A manipulator. A mask. And I was just her audience. The fool in the front row clapping for a show designed to break me. She got dressed like nothing had happened, checked herself in the mirror, even hummed again. I was still frozen, my mind spiraling in 100 directions, and she turned to me with the coldest words I've ever heard. You'll move on. Guys like you always do. You'll find some sweet, boring girl who'll love how stable you are. You'll forget me. She smiled. But you'll never have anything this intense again. Then she left. No apology. No goodbye. Just silence. I didn't eat for days. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't breathe properly. I stared at my ceiling for hours, replaying every moment. Every kiss. Every fake tear. Every time she looked me in the eye and told me I was enough. I wasn't enough. Not for her. And maybe, just maybe, that's what hurt the most. My friends tried to pull me out of it. Ryan came over, brought beer and video games, said things like good riddance, and she was a psycho anyway. But I hated that. Not because it wasn't true. Because I still missed her. That's the real curse of emotional abuse. You don't just mourn the relationship. You mourn the version of them you created in your head. The fantasy they built and sold you every day like a drug. And I was still detoxing. Weeks passed. Then a month. I started rebuilding slowly, painfully. I deleted her photos, blocked her number, got rid of everything she touched. I journaled, screamed into pillows, stared at mirrors wondering how I let it get this far. And then it happened. The final blow. I got a DM from a girl named Hannah. Hey, I know this is random, but were you dating Emma? My heart dropped. I replied, yeah. Why? She sent a screenshot. Emma, in her DMs, laughing about me, mocking the way I cried when she left, telling people I was emotionally unstable and borderline obsessive. I read the messages. All of them. She had weaponized my love, used it as proof of my weakness, told strangers that I begged her to stay, that I'd threatened self-harm. I hadn't, that I was manipulative. It was like being stabbed a second time. Only this time, it was public execution. I didn't respond to Emma. I didn't lash out. I sat on my bed that night, numb, cold, and exhausted from it all. I whispered to myself, she never loved you. She loved control. And that's when I realized it wasn't my fault, but it was my responsibility to rebuild. That's how part 1 ends. Not with revenge, not with closure, but with a boy left bleeding in silence. And the mask of the girl he loved lying shattered on the floor beside him. You'd think that once someone destroys you like that, once they drag your name through the mud, parade your humiliation for likes, and turn your heartache into a highlight reel, you'd be able to move on out of sheer survival instinct. Like your brain would finally kick in and scream, enough. Forget her. Heal. But the truth? It doesn't work like that. Some wounds don't scab over. They fester. They itch from the inside. They bleed every time you think you're finally okay. And Alyssa was the deepest cut I'd ever known. I tried moving on. I really did. I uninstalled TikTok, blocked her on everything. I even started therapy, real therapy, not just drunk venting to friends at 2 a.m. My therapist, Dr. Hamill, was this middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a voice so calm it made me want to scream some days. She told me I had emotional enmeshment, that I'd tied my identity so tightly to Alyssa's presence that her betrayal felt like death. Like my death. And yeah, that was exactly it. Every place I used to love had her fingerprints on it. The bookstore near campus, that was where we first kissed, between the poetry shelves, laughing because her lip gloss smeared onto my nose. The old coffee shop, that's where she broke down after failing her midterm, and I stayed up all night helping her study. Even my own bed felt haunted. Sometimes I'd wake up swearing I could still smell her shampoo on the pillow. It was madness. Real, gasping, obsessive madness. But the worst part wasn't the memories. It was the doubt. The way she made me question my own reality. My own version of events. Like somehow, maybe I had been too much. Maybe I was controlling. Too clingy. Too sensitive. Because that's what she told everyone. And when enough people repeat a lie, even you start to believe it. Until one night, I got a message. It was from Sarah. Not that Sarah, not the fake one Alyssa claimed she was out eating with. A different Sarah. One of her old friends from freshman year. She'd always been nice to me. Never super close, but kind. And she sent me this. Sarah, hey, I know we haven't talked in forever, but I just wanted you to know what Alyssa did to you was fucked up. A few of us didn't know the whole story at first. She lied. A lot. But some things came out recently. And I thought you deserved to hear it from someone who actually gives a damn. I sat there for 10 minutes, rereading it. My fingers hovered over the screen. Then I finally asked. Me. What came out? Sarah. She cheated on Dean too. My stomach dropped. Sarah. Same pattern. Same lies. Another guy in one of her classes. Flirting turned emotional turned physical. But this time Dean caught her. Like actually caught her. Walked in on them. He dumped her and told people everything. I leaned back on my bed, heart thudding like a war drum. Of course she did. Sarah. She tried to spin it again. Said Dean was abusive. Controlling. You know. Same script. But this time more people pushed back. Called her out. She's kind of burned through most of her friend group. I didn't reply for a while. Then finally, I said, me. So it wasn't me. Sarah. No, it never was. Those 4 words hit harder than anything Alyssa ever said. It wasn't me. It never was. Sarah didn't have to send that message. She didn't owe me anything. But in doing so, she gave me something Alyssa never did, the truth. And that truth started to unravel all the lies I'd wrapped myself in. I wasn't too clingy. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't controlling. I was loyal. I was honest. I was in love. And she'd taken that, something pure and real, and twisted it into a weapon to shield herself from accountability. And worse, to gain sympathy. That night I didn't sleep. I sat up reading through old messages between us, but now, through new eyes. The manipulation was everywhere. So subtle. So clean. Like she knew exactly how to bend the narrative without ever technically lying. Gaslighting 101. The next day, I unblocked her. Not to message. Not to snoop. Just to look. I needed to see what she'd become. Her feed was still full of shallow positivity. Gym selfies. Girls' night stories. Healing energy dizzy sparkling heart sparkles dot. But the comments, they were different now. People were asking questions. Someone commented, "Didn't you just cheat on Dean too?" Another wrote, "Lying and then playing the victim again, huh?" Classic Alyssa. She tried to laugh it off with snarky replies. Emojis. Defensiveness disguised as confidence. But the mask was slipping. And finally, I could see it. The real her. Not the version I'd fallen for. Not the highlight reel she curated to look flawless and unbothered. But the scared, shallow, manipulative girl underneath it all, grasping for control as her lies came crashing down. And for the first time in months, I smiled. I wish I could tell you I got some perfect closure. That she called me crying, begging for forgiveness. That I got to say some dramatic line and hang up while she wept on the other end. But real life's not a movie. She never reached out. And that's okay. Because I didn't need her to admit it anymore. I didn't need validation from the girl who broke me. I had something better. I had the truth. I had myself. It's been a year since Alyssa. I started dating again. Slowly. Carefully. Trust doesn't come easy anymore. And maybe it shouldn't. But I've learned to listen to my instincts now. To speak up when something feels off. To walk away when respect isn't mutual. And every now and then, I still think about her. Not with anger. Not with longing. Just with clarity. She wore a mask, and I loved the mask. But the real her, the one that hurt people, lied, and never took responsibility, that person, she never deserved my love in the first place. So if you're reading this, and you've been there too, if someone tore you down and made you question your worth, let me say what they never will. It wasn't your fault. It was never your fault. And you're going to be okay. I promise.